watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. I appreciate it. Thanks for spending time with me. Thanks for sharing this. Thanks for spreading the word or subscribing. Just hit the like button, all that kind of stuff. Do it today. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I've got a little time, and I was late anyways. We don't have time for all of this. It's just not possible.
We were just...
Hold on. But can we do like a few minutes of this? It's our favorite ass pastors. That's right, it's Flashpoint, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we got Gene the Jesus Machine over there. We got Lanny Walnuts. And we got Hank Cooney-Coon, the kookiest pastor you'll ever see, who has a Lend-Lease program with Ben Shapiro for their custody of the eyebrows. It's a bad time to be woke. Americans and Christians are pushing back. Let's hear it. It's a bad time to be woke.
Together in Tulsa, Oklahoma last week,
where Oral Roberts saw an 800-foot Jesus that told him that if his supporters didn't give him $1 million in the next 9 days, God would kill him.
What a week we had.
Oh, it's a crazy week. I mean, Lanny Walnuts didn't even have time to get his toupee on straight. It's sitting back further than usual.
Amazing time. It was wild.
It was wild. In fact,
wild. I was so party. I turned my head so fast, my toupee stood still.
If you weren't there and you've been living under a rock and you need to know what it
Afghanistan, actually, I think is what you guys
happened last week. I want to show you just a quick recap of what happened last Thursday and Friday at Flashpoint Live, Tulsa.
Uh-oh. This was exciting. It's like we're getting a front row seat at Flashpoint. Full disclosure, I'm trying to get my agent to book me some stand-up around Tulsa so that I can sneak over in Hank's church and watch a sermon and see if I can get an interview. Shh. Oh, I'm sure that money couldn't have been better spent.
I love everything about Flashpoint. First of all, it keeps us all unified and moving together as...
Yes, that's the important thing. It's kind of the line dancing of Jesus.
A Flashpoint army to be able to...
Oh, an army. That's how Jesus would want you to be regarding yourself. The Flashpoint army. Congregation's not a good enough word.
Stay in faith and to continue to pray and intercede for victory, which is going to happen because America is going to be saved.
Christians need something like this that they can stand up, support, have people that are backing them and support it for them as well. And so we all need to rally together and stand around the walls of Jericho and have something to fight for as unity.
Didn't the walls of Jericho fall a long time ago? Hey, what are you here for? I really don't know.
Flashpoint tells you the truth, and
that's Kenneth Copeland. So that's the dude who did the whole thing about like caught shit because he had multiple planes and all that kind of stuff. He owns this. He runs it. It's his organization. This is all his doing. These guys are all like middle managers.
Spirit of God that they put this word out for us.
Spirit of God that they put these word out for us. All right. By the way, if Trump sees this, he's going to be pissed.
And I believe that there is...
Tax-free. Just saying. This is an absolute political gathering, loosely dusted with religious words.
A mark of God that will come upon your life.
They're going to comb upon my life? I prefer a brush. My hair is pretty long now.
That will preserve your...
Oh, it's like the formaldehyde of Jesus.
Will preserve your finances, will preserve your family.
In like jars or something?
Will preserve our...
Jesus Christ. Can we preserve Mario?
I want us to lift up our voices. We demand...
That's not a good hand gesture, kids. That doesn't look the way you think. I would pick a different angle.
Our nation.
Yeah, see, she's got it right. Keep your hand flat and kind of in an arc up. That's okay.
Lift up our voice.
I mean, that's what Hitler did, but at least you won't, you know, people will understand that you're just feeling it. That doesn't look good at all. That looks pretty bad. Hey, dumb mustache guy. Flat hand. It's praise. You're supposed to be opening. As a matter of fact, put your hands down by your sides and open them up to receive. This kind of stuff is a little weird.
Demand that there is a
Let me get this on film. Please, get a shot of Kenneth. He's so much sexy.
in the spirit realm over the
This is, by the way, who you're hearing right now doing this preaching. That's him.
nation.
That's Hank Cooney-Coon.
We demand that
That's Mario. Or sorry, that's Lanny Walnuts.
winds of change
And Gene the Jesus Machine is chucking hats now.
blow greater. That there is a tangible shift that we will
There's a tangible shit that, what?
see it with our eyes. And now
See, yeah, drift your hand to the right. Hands open, that's not bad. If you're doing your praising things. If you feel this, I don't have a problem with people's spiritual practice. You're doing yoga, your body position matters. But the hand gesture that some of them were doing, I find a bit concerning.
may your eyes be open to see a fresh perspective of what
Ma'am, I'm sorry, you're not going to be allowed to touch Hank again. Not after the last time.
God is doing and what God has said. In
They're doing the Pledge of Allegiance, and this motherfucker's got his hands in his pockets. Infidel!
Jesus' name.
Oh, there's a band, too. I could do a couple of songs. What do you think? Where are the Blacks for Trumps? They wouldn't be there. They are Black Hebrew Israelites. They don't believe in... they think Black Jesus is a false god. For the record.
God wants you.
Well, that's exciting. I should have dressed a little more. I didn't realize I was dressing that sexy. But now that you mention it, I do feel like I have a kind of energy that is attractive right
He
now.
wants you to have the power and hope. If we're going to take America back, we're going to
What if does he want me to have the power and hope if I don't decide to take America back? She's very upset.
discover something. After we vote the right people,
Why is that guy wanting to fist Hank? I mean, the rest of these people are feeling it, but this guy, that's a bit much. Moon. Sorry. I have to, where's my, sometimes I've got so much shit on my screen, I can't even see my, I can't even see my cursor.
in, after we make all of the right moves, we
Wait, they're gonna remake All the Right Moves? I love that film.
need a moral awakening, a profound awakening of heart. What is going on? The deliverance from perverted demons, perverted spirit.
Both? Ooh. Oh dear. Is she one of the perverted demons and perverted?
Begins by
You know, when my kid gets a hold of a marker,
being born again, truly knowing Christ and being forgiven of all your sin.
well, most of them. I have like an 80-20 agreement with God.
What a night.
Oh, it's great. It was so great. Dude, I'm still so fucking drunk.
What a couple of nights that really was.
Yeah, I mean, they bled into one another. I like, whew.
You know, Pastor Hank, I'll go to you. You've had a little time to process what happened on
Yeah, sorry you're getting squashed, Lanny Walnuts.
Thursday and Friday. Give me your wrap up. What do you think?
Yeah, how was that? What did the Lord say to you that you said to that large group of people in terms, he's a prophet, by the way, in case you don't know. All these guys, except I don't think Gene the Jesus Machine considers himself a prophet. He does. All the other guys absolutely do. They believe the word of God is spoken through them and that they tell the future, which in the Bible is a sin, but don't let that, all right.
You know, Pastor Gene, first of all, it was such an honor to be with God there and with...
Yeah, he's not... It's the first time I've ever run into God. I don't really see him when I'm out and about.
And the rest of the Flashpoint team.
He really only goes to, like, sanctioned buildings now.
And also a great honor to be with Brother Copeland and KCM. It was just...
You mean the guy who pays for everything?
Mario Murillo and, of course, Lance. What
Of course, Lance. I mean, of course.
I think made it special is the presence of God. You know...
Oh, good. All right. Well, I'm glad he was there then. Shit. If he hadn't shown up, they would have blown it for everything.
Moses said something very amazing. He said, God, unless your presence goes with us. And so there's something very...
God, unless your presence goes with us. I got nothing. I don't
significant about the backing of the presence of the Lord when he shows up. It means...
When he shows up. I mean, sometimes, let's be honest, Hank, he doesn't always show. I mean, he definitely showed up when you were buying that fucking watch. Jesus Christ. They couldn't put a watch band on Big Ben. Motherfucker, look at that thing. It's not a watch. It's a fucking sundial.
Right in line with what heaven is doing, and where heaven...
Yeah, that's good. I like when God coordinates with the locals.
...is going. And so the best way to describe it is God was there. And
yeah, so you've said. What was he wearing?
Something began to shift over this nation.
Oh my God, God's been shifting all over the nation?
Really, something tangible of the presence of the Holy Spirit came up.
Oh, something tangible. You mean you could touch it physically? It existed. It was tangible. Literally? Literally tangible? No? Whoops, it froze again. Sorry, my bad. It does this whenever I play the videos. Play again, you dummy. It always jumps.
We want to see, but I want to see you there. We plan to move these around the country as much as possible and be where we...
Hold on.
The presence of the Lord when he shows up. It means you're right in line with what heaven is doing and where heaven is going. And so the best way to describe it is God was there, and something began to shift over this nation. But really something tangible of the presence of the Holy Spirit came upon the people that were there. And I'm just excited for future...
Did you pass out wet naps?
Because we are taking our nation back.
Okay, he literally said nothing. I'm just saying if I was God, and I'm not saying I'm not, because how would I know? But if I was God, I would be mildly offended.
We are taking our nation back, and we saw thousands there in attendance that agreed with that. They're ready to...
Yeah, the same people you saw last time and the time before that.
Nation back. Lance, you had a unique perspective. I want you to share.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. He looks like a guy with a unique perspective.
That what you thought about the
Did you photobomb God? Yeah. Was there ball tanning?
I think that the great alchemy that we've been talking about that is...
Excuse me? Alchemy? That's science, bordering on witchcraft. What the fuck are you talking about?
...going to be unique is that the people are coming out for something a little bit different than an evangelism rally, although that's...
Right, because they don't go to those anymore because that requires them to behave like Christians. They come to this thing for basically to be washed in political bullshit.
We end up doing. It's actually...
Yes, I am not an alchemist. I'm a halchemist.
The populist awakening. And...
Right, it's political. Right, I agree. You should be taxed.
You know that.
Yes, while churches should remain tax-free, in my estimation, you are no longer a church. This is all bullshit. Thanks for outing everyone. Way to fuck it up for everybody, Lanny.
Because some 25% of the people attending answered the altar call. And so this wasn't an altar call for rededicating your life. This was an altar call to giving your life. And if you can think about that, if you've got 10,000 people in the arena and 2,500 are responding, that tells us...
Yeah, they drive people in. The smaller, like, subsidiary churches, they walk people through it, but then when they go, we're going to take you and you can dedicate your life there at the big mega church because they don't have a baptismal area in the smaller churches because they're these little like strip mall churches. So they all go in buses. That's why there's a big line out front. That's how these mega churches work. By the way.
I've been saying all along that we probably have 25 million people out there that are politically concerned about the destiny of America, culturally worried, and that
out of 340 million.
They're going to respond to the gospel. It's an alchemy that has never really been
Alchemy. Weird again.
looked at before. Most religious leaders and Christian leaders avoid controversial subjects. They just
Well, no, they talk about controversial subjects all the time because they deal with things like addiction and sexual depravity and blah, blah, blah. Like they talk about it all the time. The part they avoid is going directly into overt electioneering because it's illegal.
focus of the gospel. But the arenas aren't going to be coming out to Trump and aren't going to be coming out to Flashpoint because their goal is to hear the Billy Graham sermon.
Yeah, because fuck that, right?
Their goal is to hear a prophetic perspective.
You love Hall & Oates? Is that, Audrey, did that just come out of nowhere? Did I miss that part of the conversation?
On what we have to do to be saved as a nation.
Sarah smiles.
And when that happens, and a quarter of the people respond to the realization that they need Christ, you have an awakening. You have
Or these people are already primed to do it because that's why they went there. And this happens almost every time. I'm going to need the figures. I'm going to need how many people who normally get baptized at these bigger things. And if it was a full baptism, I'm doubting you were fully dunking these people. I call bullshit.
Civic awakening and a spiritual awakening.
Oh, Chip's not here. Sorry, I'm in L.A. I miss him.
It's the alchemy that we're working on now.
Again, that word. Why does he think that's good?
That if it's replicated
She's a man-eater.
in other cities, becomes a game changer.
Private eyes, they're watching you. They see your every move. They see it. All right.
In terms of engagement of faith back.
Like, where have I seen that guy? Is it a playground? Hanging out by an ice cream truck? Where have I seen
the public square?
So true.
It's just gibberish. Stop saying so true. It's random.
No, you're seeing pictures right there go by
of people at the big gathering. You had a big gathering. It happens all the time. You're just competing. Kenneth Copeland is competing with Joel Osteen. That's what this is about.
And one thing that was interesting to me, gentlemen, was all age groups. I mean, we saw everything from little kids on up to...
Yeah, and they came there of their own free will. These children walked. These kids came because they were interested, and not at all because they were dragged by their lunatic, Trumpy parents.
Obviously, senior citizens there.
Obviously.
That were all there for the right reason. They wanted to take their nation back, like Pastor Hank was saying.
Yeah, even the ones who aren't old enough to vote, don't worry, you can fix that.
I did check before we went to...
Is that everybody checking their wallet, by the way? This month, it's time to pass around the bowl.
The broadcast tonight about this and how many did we have saved. They say, well, it's somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 over those 2 nights.
And how did they get the water out of the carpet?
We could not get to them all.
Well, then you didn't.
Even though they had people, so they had to kind of help them, point them which way to go. So, I mean...
Yeah, so they just sent them to the bathrooms to splash water in their face and go, you're good. Yeah, it's $25, thank you.
In itself...
we charged a very small fee to be baptized.
Is an amazing, and I don't know if video did it justice on that first.
No, definitely not. I didn't feel the majesty of it all. It looked like a giant mega church like many I've seen before.
Right, where we were sitting on the platform watching not just the altar fill up, but soon those aisles all the way up to the rafters. Every aisle was full.
Yeah.
And man.
Yeah. It's like they're all amazed that people are buying their bullshit.
This is,
I mean, in every direction.
Yeah.
You really couldn't even
hose me. That's what they should have done. They just had a big fire hose. Praise Jesus. And just hosed them down. You're being hosed down for Jesus. Just turn your face away because you'll drown. Say John 3:16 and then say I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and personal. We had only the 9 drownings.
Hank and I both
But it's way more efficient than the old way.
looked at each other. We both had tears in our eyes.
They just set off the fire sprinklers and do a mass baptism.
Because we were pivoting around looking at every aisle, because everything's
going, money, 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 money.
Nobody was moving. And I was thinking, well, actually, as many people came forward as could get there, that meant that the aisles were jammed all the way up to the exit signs in every aisle.
Which is, ironically, considering you baptize people in water, a fire hazard.
That it was not just an altar call. I mean, Mario had to improvise. How do you even do this? Because prayer altar workers is useless when you've actually got every aisle jammed. We just
Right. This is a mess.
Say we're just going to have to pray with everybody who's standing, and everyone else sit down. But it was like 25% of the
It was like a Reverend Some Young Moon wedding ceremony.
Was standing up.
Yeah, because God knows that asshole didn't fill a bunch of places.
It was an amazing night. You can try and make it out there.
By the way, there was a shit ton of rededication. There's no fucking... Look at the old people. Look at this old lady right here. She's in the aisle. She's standing up. These are like that. Look at these folks. These aren't fresh baptisms. Get out of here.
A sea of people. And I don't know if you can see in that photo.
Kiss is on my list. Grumpy Cat, by the way, if we're talking Hall & Oates songs, is the song that always makes me think of Star Wars figures. Because when I got my Boba Fett in the mail, because you had to mail away for some of the characters, you had to send them, I think it was $7, and a bunch of the cardboard backings for some of them. You'd mail it in, and you could get the Boba Fett character. And because your kiss is on my list, because your kiss, I can't resist. That song was on the radio when I got, I think probably the day I got it as I was driving home from the post office in town.
Even after the aisles filled up, I started seeing people standing up in their seats. They couldn't get even to the aisle, so they were...
Yes, people who've been baptized before, who are longtime believers, who just want to show off. I bless their hearts. I don't question their faith, but give me a fucking break. This isn't a bunch of, I was baptized when I was 11. In our church, you didn't even have to till you were 13. There's no fucking way that these folks, all these folks in this aisle, are first-time baptisms. I'm sorry. Please.
Ending wherever they were at. Now, why is this such a big deal?
Because it's cult-like behavior that's not based on the actual teachings of the Bible, and it's based on you assholes trying to make people think that they were bad Christians before and they're only good Christians who love Donald Trump if they stand up now and are officially baptized in fucking water from one of his golf courses. Oh, I'm Lenny Walnuts, and I cannot lie, I like big butts. And I know the Holy Spirit came on me tangibly, and I need a damp rag. All right. Yeah, save your voice. Thanks. Shit. I can't. This is we're almost a third of the way through this bullshit. Hold on. Here we go. Go Victory. FP Live. Let's hold on. I'll jump to another page and then it'll let me play, and then we'll do it again. 3, 2, 1, and go back, and then we go here. Nope. It's always testy on that type of thing. Go to here, hang out long enough, forget about it. Can't do that. By the way, like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Support the show. If you're on Facebook, you can support with stars. And also, hi trolls. I'm glad you guys are enjoying my Ukrainian flag frame. I put that in just for you guys because I know it makes you angry and miserable. I'm kidding. You were angry and miserable to start with. I didn't do that. It's organic. You grew it yourself. Congratulations. You built something. Now build on it. And I want to thank you for being here because you, better than anyone, expand us in the algorithm and are responsible for our Herculean growth over the last couple of months. It's been beautiful, and it's all you. Because you watching us and being all angry and typing things and going in the chat room is the only thing that expands us past the normal regular algorithmical bump we get from our ever-growing lovely crowd of genuine human beings. I'm not saying you're not genuine. I'm just questioning whether you're a human being. You might be a bot, and that's that. Please check on Instagram.
We were just together in Tulsa.
Hold on, back up.
Live event. Now we do know one, and that's coming up July 31st, Fort Worth, Texas, 6 o'clock that night, Texas time, at the Fort Worth Convention Center. You want to be.
Oh, this is the thing. And then he goes to, let's see, he goes to Lanny Walnuts. Let's see how they finish this shit out. I don't have time for all of this. Who does he bring in there? Who's that? Okay. I don't even know this. Well, we've seen this guy before. I can't remember his name, though. Does he have a nickname? He doesn't have one. Lanny Walnuts has one. Let's see.
Expanding and intimidating central government.
Yeah, this sounds like a Christian television show.
It is. And, you speaking of backlash.
Look at these all assholes nodding. Yeah. And then some asshole walked up to me and said, "Give unto Caesar's what is Caesar's." I almost clocked the fucker.
And so, John, I'll give this to you before we go to the break here.
Please do.
We are seeing the backlash now, like Lance is talking about. I think there's another wave of that. And what's that?
Yes, it's a backlash to the backlash. And then Alex Jones called it the beginning of the end of the beginning of the end of the end of the new start.
Wave. I think there's these young parents who've had kids and they've kind of gone, well, they're
doing filthy things.
They've probably been left leaning and they don't really know. But now as their children begin to enter school, let's remember what happened in Florida. That whole thing with Don't Say Gay had nothing to do with it. It was about teaching children from kindergarten to third grade.
Right, it's a troll bill.
Right, about gender issues and sexual education. That's the only thing that bill was about. But now when that level of parent is starting with those new children, are going to take the kids to school, this is going to be a whole different world.
By the way, the bill was a total, I went through this. I showed you guys the text of the bill. The bill is a total waste of time. Doesn't effectively change anything. It's meant to get right-wing voters back to the polls.
Whole different ball game when we see what's happening, John. I mean, do you think it's going to be a quicker thing, or do you think we're going to see something happen over a longer period?
Yeah, it might be that human societal change actually takes possibly decades. Yeah, it's totally a Fox News backdrop they've got. They bought it from the same graphics package.
I hope you see something over a longer period of time. I like the way that you broke that out, Gene.
Tech entrepreneur and attorney, millionvoices.org. So all the pretext of like a preacher as well. It doesn't. Your voice matters. Use it well.
It's usually when you're younger, you're not as responsible for more things. But when
tell that to Matt Gaetz.
Married, you become more responsible and have to deal with more things. When you have kids, you become even more responsible. So the weight of what are we teaching someone, and it happens. It's a normal trend that happens with people. Think about the insanity of what's happening here. The bill in Florida was to keep transgender thought and draining people's brains and their morals.
Draining their brains?
Kindergarten. These kids are barely out of diapers. You can't drink a...
Yeah, they're not doing it. That's what I'm saying. This was puffery. They meant it to make it like in schools, and that was enough to set everybody else on the Twitterverse fighting back against this thing when it wasn't even happening to start with. It's like the same as the CRT argument. This is all culture war bullshit that has, by the way, almost nothing to do with shutting down anybody on the left side of the spectrum or stopping trans rights or any of that kind of stuff. It is a motivator for right-wing voters this fall. That's it. That's what it's for.
To your 21.
It's a manipulation. It was a propaganda bill.
Drive a car to 16. Most places you can't pierce your ears until you're 14, and they want the rights.
He seems to know all these numbers by heart.
From the parents. Books in their school, teachers that are doing it, teachers that have an agenda. And
yeah, apparently some people want to put the Bible in schools and have it available in there. And there's a story in there about these two daughters that fuck their dad. They get him drunk first. No, but only after they've witnessed the death of their mother for reminiscing about times when she was in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oftentimes it's an individual person that gets this through, and now I think there's going to be parents that stand up and go, well, if that's happening, it's the same thing that you're seeing on the other end of the spectrum. Sure. If they can cancel free speech, if they can shut down Christian
which they didn't do.
Worship, if
they can't, nobody can shut down Christian worship. What they mean is giant churches. These big ones got all pissed off during COVID because this is their bread and fucking butter.
What do we have in this country? Literally, this is a threat that is unparalleled in our lifetime.
Well, you're a youngin'. I like I said, I hid under a desk because we might be nuked.
Thank goodness people are waking up, and I love what you're doing with the Flashpoint Army.
It's not an army.
Is it become?
It's the Flashpoint puttering masses.
10 times that in the next couple of months.
Yeah, it needs to for us to continue to make an impact.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You thought you were making an impact. I beg your pardon.